Hello, world, and welcome back to another transit chart reading from Beyond the Matrix. I'm Sarah, and today I've been not recording for a while, so I'm going to go over some of the transits that have been happening in my absence and some of the transits that are coming up. But I still want to keep it brief, so I'm going to try to just kind of describe the backbone. So on November 28th, Mars moved through a trine with Saturn. Here we go. So Saturn is at 19 degrees, and it's likely that Mars in Gemini retrograded from 19 to 18 degrees. So that's why it's now here. So that trine is a harmonious aspect between, you could say, our willpower and our discipline. Because that's what Mars and Saturn represent respectively. Saturn is in a good place right now because it's at home in Aquarius. So it's very intellectual, technological, looking for new solutions to a problem. Where Mars has been and still is in Gemini. And so there's more with thinking and communicating. And it can feel, though, like hurry up and wait. Well, Saturn is this planet that's all about taking longer to do things. And with Mars kind of moving in this backwards motion, it's not getting as much accomplished as a Mars that's on the blazing trail. So it feels like a lot of tension building up, and that's going to come to play in the next full moon on the 29th. So we're going to start seeing Mercury and Venus hit the same transits. So in fact, I can back the clock up. So on the 29th, first, Mercury went through that opposition with Mars, still trining Saturn, so still getting that support from Saturn from Mars. But it's in opposition, that whole hurry up and wait idea is in opposition to Mercury, who's in this very positive Sagittarius sign. So Sagittarius is optimistic and lucky and fortune, and it's like dreaming big. So that's been part of the energy. And then Venus rolled through the opposition with Mars and Gemini, kind of November 30th to December 1st. And that is, Venus represents our creativity, our love, that kind of desire, that kind of passion. And again, in this very jovial, happy-go-lucky sign of Sagittarius. So these very close personal planets are at odds with this personal planet that's just outside their perimeter. And this outer, personal planet is kind of getting some support from the structure of Saturn, like scaffolding, because it's going to all blow up with the full moon. Okay. Then what I wanted to talk about today for December 1st, with all of that in mind, is Mercury squaring Neptune. So I just talk about how Mercury is imagining big dreams right now. And that's going to maybe intensify the dreaming part of it, because Mercury here at 21 degrees of Sagittarius is going to move into this square with Neptune. And Neptune is in its home sign of Pisces. So there is a veil, there's something foggy or hazy ahead. It's not clear. Whatever house Neptune is in and has been in for a very long time, there is some obscured vision or dream. It can be very hopeful. But because there's a square here, it seems like whatever Mercury is working towards is somewhat at odds with what Neptune is working towards with regards to this big dream. Whatever that might mean for you uh, is the energy that I'm personally experiencing. And I think I've noticed other people are feeling it too, where you have this kind of expectation, this big dream, and it's not coming around quick enough. It's surprisingly a very simple message to sum up. With that being said, I'm just going to then read a little bit about Mercury combined with Neptune from Renn Butler's The Archetypal Universe so that you can hear some examples for how this energy can arise. So he starts out with an open and peaceful mind, gifts of intuition and insight, flowing imagery and inspiration, an ability to perceive patterns and connections, a search for higher meaning. In the shadow, a tendency toward errors and misunderstandings, confusion and wishful thinking, issues around honesty and clarity. And then in the characters and themes section, it says an ongoing flow of insight and inspiration, intuition and sensitivity, compassionate understanding of others, a talent for mimicry and improvisation, gifts of smooth, gentle speech, sensitive communication, nuance and subtlety, powers of visualization, a rich and fertile imagination, an ability to daydream, reflect, and lose yourself in thought. Quote, the sweet serenity of books. Longfellow. So there's a lot about communication, reading, writing, speech. So this is all ways that Mercury communicates. And this idea of daydreaming, intuition, sensitivity, inspiration, premonitions, or synchronicities, all of those kind of fall into the realm of Neptune. You get the general idea is that Mercury is about thoughts, communication, and in that same vein is about short distance travel and messages getting, moved around or signaled, sent out. It doesn't have to be verbal. And then combine that with Neptune, which is very ethereal, very cryptic, it's hazy, spiritual. It's in Pisces, so it's even more ethereal and can be very magnetic too. So the pull to this big dream is almost undeniable. We're going to feel really pulled to this Neptune dream because it's still got Jupiter in Pisces as well, this planet of expansion, this gaseous giant. So even though Jupiter's leaving the sign of Pisces soon for another 11 years, will not return, these are the last culminating moments of having Jupiter. And from what I've heard, Jupiter likes to give you one last gift before he leaves the sign that he's in for good. So I'm hoping that, that's part of that Neptune dream. But then at the same time, I know how delusional Neptune can make us. So it's really important to not jump the gun here. And, even until after the full moon, I would say, like the 10th, right now is the time just to kind of be deliberating, just to be putting pen to paper and like starting to figure out the groundwork of the plans. This isn't the energy for execution. Be willing to stay where you are now. Enjoy as much time as you can during this holiday season. even if you're not celebrating consumerist holidays, you can enjoy the magic that this time of year really does encapsulate. You know, these planets, Sun, Mercury, Venus, are all in this sign. So there's a lot of energy for us to work with that's still very optimistic, but doesn't have to like actually involve executing the plan. So, planning period right now, because some of this stuff's going to get trimmed away. And, you know, better to cut the fat before it's on your plate. I made that up. Okay, so with all that being said, I hope you enjoy this energy, and I will do my best to be back very soon to talk about another transit. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.